This is a continuation of the reading I started on September the 24th of the 1944 notebook. Mary de Agreda, in the descriptive part, thus fell into the frills of Spanish humanism, turning the holy poverty in which my mother lived, her sublime creation on earth, and her reigning in heaven, into a bundle of elements of rutilant pomp from Spain's royal court in the most pompous era there has ever been. Her tendency as a Spaniard, and a Spaniard of her time, and suggestions by others, who because they were Spaniards and of that time, were led to see, dream, conceive of, and transfer into the eternal and supernatural domain what was temporary and human, adorned the descriptions with the tinsel which deforms without honoring. It is a big mistake to impose certain remakes. The human mind, perfect and very imperfect, it cannot repeat something, especially a work of this kind and these proportions, without falling into errors, involuntary ones, but doing harm to what was perfect, because it was illuminated by God. Why don't I illuminate the instrument again? For the sake of the instrument I would, but the incredulous deserve a punishment. I am not man's servant, but man is mine. God comes, halts, acts, and passes on. When man says, I don't want this, and destroys God's work, or skeptically and incredulously says, I don't believe, and wants imprudent proofs, God does not always return. And who is stricken? God? No, man. For some time I have wanted to speak about Mary de Agreda, for there was a person who so desired, and I satisfied proper desires. But I reserve the topic for this time, because it was useful that way. I am able to await the propitious moment. Learn from me. I have also given you the pages on my mother in her infancy and holy childhood. See note 676. And you will ask, why then did you give them to us? But could I have my spokesman write this when dead? I could, for nothing is impossible for God, but I would not do so, because even this miracle of a dead person writing would not convert the incredulous. I use him, then, while he is alive. But you, do not be in a hurry, and be patient and careful, and prudent, and gentle. I say so again, if I allow you that are closest to draw abundantly for your ministry, and for the elevation of the multitudes, terrified by life today, you must never forget, however, that here it is not just your interests, but those of God, that he wishes to have shine forth with his power and wisdom in a creature of his. Jesus then says, look for and copy the passages in the dictations on this matter. I shall indicate them to you. And I have Paula, who can testify to this. Give me the dictations only now, when I have finished receiving this dictation. The footnote says, in the selection which follows, the writer has included the dates of the entries which may be found in the notebook 1943. In a dictation on July the 18th, 1943, the master says, as for Father Migliorini, I am very, very happy to have him use my words for himself, for his soul, for his preaching, and for the guidance and comfort of other souls, both priests and others. But he must not reveal the source for the time being. A dictation on August the 23rd, 1943. Go spread my word. Go with discernment and care. Do not apply it to all in the same way. I advise you to make a selection of the words spoken. There are passages which for the time being must remain as a sweet conversation between you and others, which should be made known only to persons who, because of either their function or their soul, are already in a position to be admitted to certain types of knowledge. Others may be offered and disseminated among souls. Good sense is needed in using my gift. Act as with Sister Benigna, not an open, tumultuous dissemination, but a slow spreading, getting broader and broader, and remaining anonymous, for the sake of your spirit, which pride might disturb, and your person, which does not need more agitation. When your hand is still, in reverent expectation of rising again in glory, Then, only then, will your name be cited. The spokesmen are so rare that I do not want them to be disturbed or destroyed by the world's hatred. A dictation on August the 13th, 1943. Let Father Migliorini use what he deems useful in what I say. These are pearls which I give gratuitously. But, among all of them, let him withhold one, the mother pearl. Let him withhold you, regarding whom I am jealous and upon whom I exercise an absolute power of ownership. You are not Maria, and must not be known as Maria. Your personality is annulled. No one should know you as a writer of my thought, except for 2 or 3 privileged persons. Later, when I will, and no one can harm you any more, the name of the little voice will be known, but you will then be where human pettiness cannot arrive, and where human wickedness cannot act. A dictation on August the 15th. Use your writings as follows. The part which is yours will have the usual value of providing information for the curiosity of man, who always wants to probe into the secrets of souls. The part which is mine, which should be separated from yours, will have a formative value, for in it there is an evangelical voice, and this voice always has the value of spiritual formation. A dictation on September 10th, 1943. My little John, I entrust my word to you. Convey it to the teachers, that they may use it for the good of creatures. A dictation on December the 9th, 1943. As regards the passages of the dictations, Jesus says passages, not pages or complete pages. It is useless to scatter them as food for reptiles. I have stated and repeated that a lot of prudence is needed. Why do you want to satisfy foolish curiosity? I do not dictate what I dictate for your amusement, or to bend to your morbid thirst for knowledge of the future. Upright spirits already have more than enough in what is given for all, without lifting more profound veils. I have stated, and if I do not weary of repeating my word, I do weary of repeating my commands regarding the spokesman, that only when he is no longer in the world will everything be known about his labor. Do not be eager to make general exhibitions. With tears of blood, he allows you to use the pages which are entirely his, but he does not want anything else, because I do not. In the dictations you have coffers of gems, sufficient to make the world luminous. Why do you want to extract even the diamonds, which only in a few years can be handled, without the forces of evil appropriating them to destroy them? The one who writes is led, but the one who copies must be able to comprehend what should be kept at the disposal of one alone. Conserve all the work of my spokesman, then, for the hour I shall indicate, and give the world's poor, according to their condition, what should be given, and pray so as not to let yourself be carried away by humanity in your choices. Regarding current events, Father Migliorini has been able to note the concomitances and can testify. Regarding the rest, I repeat, act as Benigna's director did. He was in better times and had less explosive material in his hands. Do not repeat questions, for I shall not answer. Do not depart from the rule, for I shall not bless. Take your work and give it to the spokesman. He will tell you the points which should not be placed at the disposal of the curious and the wicked. I shall take him by the hand in the choice. A dictation on December the 13th. I do not speak to satisfy superstitious curiosity or even mere humanity. I am not a pagan oracle, and do not want you to be pagans. I will not take away from you, then, the joy of my word on points exclusively addressed to the Spirit, without establishing parallels between it and current events, or those in the near future. This gap will remain as a warning for many, and will last as long as I will. But if there is non-spiritual use of your work, I shall command you to write for yourself alone, and, if you fail to obey, I shall take the word away from you. Jesus says, that's enough. The passages are sufficient. The others repeat these. Be at peace, and inform the person who should know about this.